construction and once it's completed. And I've heard that 10 to 12% figure, but being somebody who's actually litigated rate cases in Public Service Commission, you got to see the assumptions that are made to know the validity of the numbers. And I would really, before I feel that I can make a prudent decision on whether or not this is the right thing to do, I've got to see those numbers and I've got to know what it is we're looking at.
We have to respond to.
Okay, thank you. Some general comments. I think, number one, there's basically no consumer protection in this bill at all for residential or industrial ratepayers. And I think that's especially true if this plant is started and never finished. In fact, the language as I read it, if the plan is approved, yet the project is abandoned, not only is there no mechanism to refund to ratepayers the investment they've made, but you can actually continue to charge them for the remainder of the project. I just don't think that's fundamental.
We would disagree with that interpretation. The Public Service Commission can make a decision. They can either refund it or change our rates or lower our rates. I mean, they have full control over that. If they tell us to abandon the plant, then obviously we think those costs will still continue.
Right, but that's a contingency that's addressed. But I think also we have to go to the fact that it has language in there if you just abandon it for any reason, which then gets to my second point, which is
these are really just interim rates, so the Public Service Commission can't change those rates.
Right, but what you've done is you've seriously tied the Public Service Commission's hands by redoing how prudency review in the state is done on what's just and reasonable. You've substantially changed the time frames with as little as 1 month to 3 months for those decisions to be made. You've essentially done away with any ability for anybody to raise a prudency question once the decision is made after, say, 3 months. You've done away with the judicial review provisions. And the reason I'm raising this is you've essentially turned what is a fairly well-established process for the Public Service Commission to do prudency review on what's just and reasonable, and you've basically annihilated that and given a schedule, and then you've limited discovery and what can occur in those cases to where it makes it almost impossible, at least from my perspective, and I'd be curious to hear from the Public Service Commission, but I think it would be virtually impossible for the Public Service Commission to actually do any level of due diligence in a prudency review.
Senator, the Commission can say no. We have to apply, and they have the option to say no.
They can't, because if they don't make a decision in 3 months, the language you have in this bill provides that you automatically get your approval.
Their decision could be no. To not build it. And if they decide not, if they turn down our request.
Right, the burden is on them to show that it's improved as opposed to the other way around, and then you take out the judicial review provision.
They can immediately turn it down and we can start the process over again. So I think there's plenty, if they need more time and they find out they can't do it, I think they can handle that situation.
Sure.
I mean, part of the